Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome, 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 everyone. Goddesses, gods, thank you for being here, for joining us today. We are in this elevated space during this beautiful time on planet Earth. It seems like every day is a beautiful time on planet Earth. And today we're talking about these incredible energies. And this year alone has been a great awakening of the divine feminine in new ways that we have not experienced before. And my guest today is Kate Alexandra. She's here to share on the star mothers of Genesis and the 8 pillars of Venus. And what a beautiful time as we are in an eclipse window and we are guided by Venus. Venus is at 2 degrees in this eclipse that just happened a couple of days ago. Let's welcome Kate Alexandra back to this platform. Hi, Kate. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Lauren. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it's a beautiful alignment.
It is a beautiful alignment. So tell us, we're going to talk all about what's going on and Venus and the star mothers of Genesis. But I would like you to share your take on these energies. When we feel into Venus, what's that like for you?
Yeah, beautiful. I've actually worked with Venus or the Venusian consciousness for the last 5 years consciously. Back in my healing days, when I offered healing sessions, the consciousness would come through to support me. It's only actually been, interestingly, this year where I have received, I would say, more tangible clarity in how that Venusian consciousness is kind of stepping forth to support not only me and what I'm birthing, but also all of us. So I really loved your introduction because absolutely this year has been just profound in my own reality in terms of that mother consciousness returning. And that really is my experience of the Venusian consciousness. It really comes through in times of transition. The way I was shown it this year actually is the Venusian consciousness is really helping us, guiding us, stewarding us through a birthing canal into this new age, this new cycle. It was really beautiful. I've actually had a few kind of out of body experiences and journeys with this consciousness. It feels like it's really the consciousness of the mother's milk that is coming to kind of nurture us through this birthing canal.
That is interesting that you say that, because I was just reflecting recently, and it feels like there's so much more. There's something new coming for each of us. We can't really put our finger on it because it hasn't been born yet, but it's ready. It's almost like we're pregnant with something. And if we do reflect on that, we're coming up into the end of October, and that's 9 months outside of the 2222 gateway. So what a beautiful time to really experience this. And what would you say about the divine feminine in this process? Venus is part of the divine feminine, am I right? And so we're starting to see transformation in our own lives, maybe an awakening of the goddess within us. I've heard people, women, and also men, because they're part of this as well. We're all balanced in our masculine and feminine, but there's interesting, these activations of the goddess coming forth. Have you heard that from your clientele or witnessed anything out there from our group and our collective?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Everything that's been downloaded through my own consciousness and awareness is, and I love how you say becoming pregnant with this, because it is really, we are giving birth to new consciousness. And the way that I've been shown it is, I actually have been shown this term of the star mother, who is the highest of the female principle of creation initiate, as she has ultimately journeyed through the different layers of her initiation, integrating the child, the goddess, the crone. And it's almost like that upgraded embodied state of the goddess, I would say. It feels very much like the high priestess of the new earth. It's all about, this is why today's talk title is Genesis, because it is really about giving birth to the new consciousness, and really through that mother eye, that's what I call it. We each hold a different lens, a different perspective of the mother. So we each are a mother eye, as in mother eye, and also mother eye. And together we actually form the grandmother spider, the overseer consciousness, that is returning to this planet, but through us, through the lenses and perspectives that we're now holding. And it is through those lenses and perspective that we create our reality. You know, the eyes are projectors. You know, we create through the vision. We hold sustainably that mother consciousness. So absolutely, I'm feeling it, I'm seeing it, I'm witnessing it in everyone around me. As you say, it's not just women. This is the female principle of creation that we all hold. But absolutely, quantum leaps. It's just beautiful to witness everybody coming into their power and their truth. Definitely this year has been a quantum leap year, I think, for everybody I'm witnessing right now around me.
Quantum leap, yes. There's a word, soul leap, that I've felt. Soul leap, and I don't know how to quantify or articulate exactly what that is, but that's a quantum leap. And it does, there's an activation going on. All right, so we're going to talk about more of the star mother of Genesis and what's in each side of us. But you had mentioned out of body experience that you had with this Venus energy. Can you share more on what that was and what you experienced?
Right. Yes. And I'm really just stepping forward now, I would say, after 5 years of many kind of out of body experiences, many communications. I know I've been on this show previously speaking about my regression technique, quantum bridging, that I would guide others through their kind of soul bridging. So I'm now really just stepping forward and sharing my own experience. The most recent of my kind of journeys was with the consciousness of, some people know as the Hathor consciousness, the Hathor collective consciousness, that I see and I know as I said previously, as stewards of this new consciousness. They came forward with various different words, and one of them being mother's milk, kind of stewarding and preparing those of us who are cosmic midwives, those of us who are also here to hold and protect and nurture that birthing canal for the collective consciousness. So in my most recent out of body experience, I was taken to see this birthing canal. And it was beautiful, kind of soft pastel pink hues, connected to the Andromedan galaxy, which I know so many refer to as the mother galaxy, that galaxy that has ultimately ascended. I call it the future ascended consciousness or aspect of us that is really grounding to surrender and flow and that ease and grace of the divine feminine. So I've been kind of journeying around that kind of birthing canal, and understanding and seeing how we all play different parts, as light workers, as star mothers, right? And we all hold the star mother code within us. It's not some kind of exclusive activation. It's within our mitochondrial DNA. It's awaiting awakening and activation. This is really the essence, the seed of the divine mother and the true oracle. The true oracle being that female principle of creation who understands that she is creating through her awareness of reality. So I'm just really being shown at the moment how we are in this time, as you say, of quantum leaping activation. The star mothers of original mother light are awakening now and stepping forward to kind of steward the collective consciousness. And they first of all, they primarily do this through recalibrating their internal cosmos. And this is really just reprogramming the perspectives, reconditioning our neocortex, the neural pathways in our brain, just revisiting and shedding all our false identities and beliefs. As we rewire our own neocortex, we're ultimately, as star mothers, what we're doing is we're opening pathways, energetic pathways within the grid of the collective consciousness, so that it's a bit more easy for the rest of humanity to follow. And it definitely feels like there's a quickening happening. So obviously each and every one of us, the more that we activate, the more that we are kind of path opening. It definitely feels like there is just this rapid process now. I think we're all feeling it.
So that is very interesting. And I hear a question, how do we activate this? Is it activated through love and kindness? Is there anything else to do besides that, or just holding a vision? Well, how would you suggest that we activate this? Or maybe we don't have to even worry about it.
Yeah, this is exactly what the 8 pillars of Venus speaks about. It's a multi-dimensional process. The 8 pillars of Venus are a quantum toolbox to help us, activate these perspectives. And that's why I speak about the oracle. Of course, it's to do with opening the heart, returning to and anchoring unconditional love. But it's also this simultaneous process of realizing where we have held limitations and limiting beliefs. So it's a lot about the reconditioning of our belief system. And it really guides us through our subconscious, because we must remember that, there's 95% of us, or around 95% of us, that is the hidden part of us. That's the subconscious part. And this is why I feel so passionately about this part of us. I used to work as an aggressionist, hypnotherapist, because it's within that subconscious where we have those kind of niggling limitations, limiting beliefs. So absolutely, it's heart opening, and it's all simultaneous. Of course, it's simultaneous. The more that we open our heart, the more that we see our illusions and the inversion or distortion that maybe have been kind of hiding in our subconscious self, and vice versa. The more that we reprogram those limitations, the more that the heart will open. So I feel it's definitely a bridging process. And this is really what the archetype of Venus is. We can actually refer to the Hopi prophecy, right, which speaks of Quetzalcoatl's return to this planet and his connection to Venus. And it's this bridging, we're bridging now heaven and earth. And we could say that is also kind of bridging kind of the present with the future, or the past with the future. So it's really finding all of these layers of us and bringing them back into, rebridging them back into unity. So it is a process, but these energies are definitely supporting that. They're definitely illuminating everything for us to see and alchemize right now.
Yes, and so let me ask you about your own journey in this, because when we look at the illusions that we create, oh my goodness, this can go into so many aspects of us, like, the wounded child, and that's even in this life, but there's even past lives that are affected. So in your own experience, in your own life, how has that been for you to see your illusions? Are there examples of what that has been like through your own transformation?
Yeah, okay, good question. Yes, I completely am. In order to prepare me to hold this teaching, which is the 8 pillars of Venus, is one of the teachings of Diamond Heart. By the way, I should have mentioned that. And the Diamond Heart teachings are being gifted to humanity now. They are being brought through by many of us, right? And in order for me to kind of hold these and receive them, absolutely, I'm very much devoted to this journey myself, and really walking in transparency, self-transparency, and with others as well, and just really devoted to reprogramming and reframing the perspectives that I hold. And it's a continual journey. I'm constantly especially now with these energies, every week I'm seeing limitations where I hold old programs, and it can be anything from just self-doubt or self-judgment, criticism, the parts of me that are playing small, and ultimately I haven't realized or seen them or recognized them until I do, and then it's very obvious and clear. So it's just really a journey of observation and transparency, and but also I think the beauty with the 8 pillars and how it's really schooled me, because it's a teaching that I am also working with myself. It's quite incredible. I've actually been just doing a 21-day challenge, and as I'm bringing it through, I'm also kind of being taught by it. So I'm having a lot of stuff come up myself. And that's, of course, all part of it, right? Because I have to be relatable. I have to be able to understand these blocks and these limitations myself. So I feel like I definitely chose to experience a lot of limiting beliefs in my life, just through my own upbringing, my own childhood, having those experiences so that I can not only alchemize them, but I can understand them as well. My husband as well, Jesse, we've both been transformed through these teachings, and we continue to be. So it's absolutely not just for females as well, and this journey of kind of self-observation and reframing, reconditioning. But yes, I definitely am constantly working. And I would say there's actually an amplification for me personally with my shadow patterns. It's almost like, I feel like I always use this analogy, but I feel like it's always like a big tangled ball of string. and as soon as you kind of get one knot, it's like unravels the whole thing. But what I love about this process and this journey that I'm on myself is I'm really learning how to bring play and ease into the process, because I think for my own journey, I went through years and years of traditional therapy and really struggling to overcome a lot of my limitations and my trauma, the identities that I attached to my past. And I think since I've been really working with this consciousness, I've seen a huge shift in that it doesn't need to be so difficult, and it doesn't need to be so heavy, and I get to move through things with just more grace and playfulness almost.
Those are the qualities of the divine feminine, and we've heard for years, light workers have heard for years, that the heavy lifting is over and it's time to have fun now. It's time to have fun. And so, when we're talking about creating with the divine feminine, that really is a few important aspects of it. So let's talk about reality through the lens of the divine feminine principle of creation. First, share with us more of those qualities of the divine feminine, and then how we would go about reprogramming these limitations, these illusions, these doubts with those feminine principles that are empowering.
Yeah, beautiful question. Obviously, there's so much to say about this. I literally, when I was receiving these teachings, it kind of flooded me, hit me like a wave, and I have books worth of content on this. But I think one of the foundational perspectives that I'll share, which has been really key, and it's almost a springboard, I would say, of quantum leaps. And that's really what this consciousness is. It's just layers upon layers of perspectives that we can integrate to help us elevate and expand our consciousness and therefore our reality. So there's many, many different layers, and they're kind of brought through, in divine order. When we think about initiation, the 8 pillars is, of course, like I said, it's this initiation process, and there is, in a way, there is kind of a cosmic order to things. So I will start off sharing a foundational perspective that I share a lot, and it's very, very helpful. And that is, it's working with this bridge, as I said, between present, so I would call that earth, and future, and we could call that heaven. Now, I'm saying future in terms of kind of a linear perspective, but of course, we could also say that future is, of course, already existing, and it's just our higher self. It's our ascended consciousness. But for now, I'm going to say present and future. So one of the foundational perspectives that's been brought through for me, and it's been woven through my whole journey. Oh my gosh, maybe I'll share that story afterwards. But it's really this remembering of our future self. And when I say future self, I'm speaking about an aspect of you that is already, they've mastered their mind. They've mastered all of the reprogramming of their neocortex. They've already found complete liberation and freedom. And they're really anchored and grounded in their core essence. They are embodied ultimately. And so I like to just invite people, as simple as that sounds, just to almost spend just a few moments. And I actually offer guided meditations and guided visualizations for this as well, where people can reconnect to that future ascended aspect of themselves, so to form that bridge. And as we open that bridge, which is also a neural pathway in our mind, and we know that neural pathways are formed and anchored through repetition. So I invite people to spend a few moments a day connecting to that future ascended aspect. And it's not about getting lost in details about what they're doing or where they're living or all those things. It's about really connecting to that embodied state. So that complete 0 point nervous system, for instance, of that future version of you that is anchored to peace consciousness. Their nervous system is completely relaxed. They are embodied in the divine feminine in terms of their level of receptivity. So they're completely open and receptive to source communion, to abundance, to love, to fulfillment. And so just spending a few moments every day, just being with that aspect. And then you can develop that more and more. So to really pull that consciousness in to the present moment. And I'll just say that this is not about escaping the present moment. We're not doing that. This isn't about leaking our life force energy into something outside of the now moment. What this is reconditioning the mind, reconditioning the neural pathways that have been so anchored in a referencing of the past. That's just how we've been conditioned, right? This is how humanity is being conditioned right now. So in order to kind of recondition, we're kind of going to an aspect of us that is already in existence to open pathways, but also to act as inspiration. And so as we do this daily, for instance, or multiple times a day, however much we feel guided, we are programming a new default setting in our being so that it becomes easier in every moment to respond to our reality, our triggers, our limitations, our thoughts, to click back into that consciousness, which is our truth, right? This is our soul essence. This is our soul truth. So it's really just, as I say, clicking in to that state of awareness and embodiment and peace. It's all about creating sustainable peace, really, in our mind, in our nervous system.
This, as you were talking, has been an activation in that sense, because I can feel everyone who's with us in our Zoom audience already there, already connecting in with that future embodied aspect. Yes, and it's so beautiful that that is really empowering. And so that's a quantum leap right there. This present moment awareness of our perfection, and we can say it's in the future. The future selves are that embodied wisdom. But wow, okay, it makes
Right.
me look back at things that happened even in the past week, where I'm not so proud of. It wasn't so becoming of me. I'm sharing this story again about trees, beautiful old trees that were cut down before my eyes. And so right now, that's very healing for me, because my heart was very heavy watching this destruction in a place that's not supposed to be harmed in this way. And so just hearing this perspective has been so healing and comforting in this moment. Because imagine, it just gives me new, fresh insight. It is the bridge, is what you're talking about, of how we communicate in this present moment to things that are not, that don't resonate with our heart, that things that seem kind of off. I'm sorry if I'm not articulating it as clearly as I would like, but this is powerful, because this is how we bring in new earth. If we are able to, it's almost like we're time traveling. We're time traveling by connecting to that aspect of ourselves, of that increased awareness, that new consciousness that we're birthing right now. And there's so much solution energy in that. And you mentioned that this is how we affect the collective. I was going to ask, how do we affect the collective? But just by us, and I'm getting chills now talking, just by us being in this aware presence, it's multidimensional, it's solution energy, and that is how our world changes. This might seem esoteric or kind of aloof in how we're talking about it, but wow,
Right.
really very important, don't you think? Very important. Mhm.
Right. Exactly. And it's just reminding ourselves to our capacity and our truth, right? Because it's really tapping into that aspect of us that isn't wearing layers of armor or false identities that have been created through fear and trauma. So it's very empowering. And this perspective, I'll share my story actually quickly, how it came to me, and it's profound. Throughout my life, as I said, I've had many out of body experiences. It took me many years to ground them, and if I'm completely honest, I thought for many years that I was insane, whatever that means, but I would really struggle to ground these perspectives, these very quantum expansive perspectives. But over the last 5 years, I've been taken on a huge journey. And 5 years ago was one of the most important days, I think, for my own journey, but also to help me prepare me to hold and understand these perspectives. And I'm just going to kind of share the short version of it, but I had just experienced a very powerful activation of my soul star. This is 2017 solar eclipse, late August, early September. And I
Yeah.
know that many of us remember that. So I'd been activated and I started to experience multidimensional contact with my soul aspects. We could call them also my soul family. And this was very tangible. They would actually come into the physical room with my eyes open in daylight, and I would communicate with these beings. And on this day, 2017, a higher aspect of me appeared as light. And it was very clear that this aspect was my higher soul, my monadic soul. And over the years, as I was understanding and grounding this, I began to receive information and messages that this was to help me understand and ground into that truth, into that frequency that I hold as a soul. And I think that was truly one of the, as I call it, foundational perspectives, but I would also call it the most powerful medicine that I've received throughout my own journey, because it acts as an anchor point, a reference point. As I said, in our limited kind of third dimensional experience, we've only had the past to reference. And therefore, as we're referencing that, we're grounding into it. We're grounding into that mental grid, of ultimately kind of loops. And we could call it karma, which is just repeated patterns and cycles. And so this medicine was truly life-changing for me, because it helped me to begin to ground and anchor into a new consciousness, a future consciousness, which we could call our true consciousness, free from suffering, survival, struggle, separation. And this consciousness as well, I'll just add, there was a unity collective feel. So I began to understand and ground into that oneness consciousness as well.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I really think the word embodiment is coming. It is as if we are bringing in this consciousness. You know, we talk about soul retrieval, or fragments of our soul that we're bringing back in into the whole. And this is an aspect of it, but it's not a fragment. It's just collecting consciousness of ourself, of aspects of our own consciousness that we can embody now. So this is embodiment. Really very, very fascinating. Wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that story, because it's inspiring all of us to go deep within and root out those illusions and reprogram for the highest good, and reprogram in this consciousness. And it's this consciousness of the divine feminine and the star mothers of Genesis. And you mentioned the divine oracle. So what is this divine oracle? This is something, when we hear spiritual teachers say, you know what you know within you, would this be the divine oracle? So tell us more about the definition of divine oracle and what that really is.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll share from my perspective and what I understand of it, which is continually expanding, of course. So what I have received about this is really through that simultaneous process, as I mentioned, of kind of releasing the limitations whilst opening the diamond heart, and the diamond heart being our fifth dimensional heart. So this is free from burdens and pain and armor. This is the diamond heart that connects us into the diamond consciousness of our soul. And as this awakens, it awakens that mother eye within us. And this is our ability to be able to see truth. And I always say, you know, to be truth, to embody, first, we must see truth. We must see. And so the true oracle is, as I said, it's this understanding of this multidimensional awareness of self, of our external reality, and our capacity as the mother, right? And who is the mother? She is the ultimate creator. So we're returning to creator consciousness. And I think this is key, because I think a lot of us have seen the oracle, or we associate it with this ability to maybe predict a future and read our external reality. But what I understand is the true oracle of Genesis, the star mother, is she uses and refines, cultivates her lens, her eye, and she uses that to create. And it's all about sustainability with this. So this isn't just about being able to get an impression of something, or you know, connecting to something just momentarily. This is about sustainability. It's about being able to hold the beliefs in a sustainable way, be able to hold the perspectives. And it's through that that we are installing mother eye. And this is how we see reality. I think I said earlier, you know, the eye, the oracle, we have to see it as a projector of reality. It's not just reading reality. So this is a very empowering perspective, because we're understanding that we are our external reality, and therefore, you know, we don't just get to anchor into that future, but we get to create it now through the vision that we hold as the refined, embodied principle of creation, the mother creation, your mother creator.
Yes, this is why we have always said, hold your vision of new earth. We know what that is. Some might not have that vision yet, but if we hold that vision of new earth and what we feel from our heart space and from our soul space, I mean, we can all see that earth. And as we hold that through that sustainable creation of the divine feminine, the answers will flow, the resources will come, we'll make the connections, and things will happen that bring us closer towards our goals and what we want to manifest. So incredibly beautiful and very inspiring and
Mm.
part of our journey. So thank you. So, all right, the 8 pillars of Venus. I want to share that you're going to be teaching a course on a live webinar on the 8 pillars of Venus. So share with us a little bit. This could be like a little introduction session to that larger course that you're going to teach. It's it's a 2-hour course and it's beautiful. So share us more about what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 8 pillars is really a soul compass. And as I was receiving this consciousness, it came through actually as 3 days. And then it took me many weeks and months and continues to kind of process and translate it. But the first 3 days, I was receiving a lot of images. It actually came through, as well as, of course, many downloads and information. It came through as a vision and many layers. And it created a soul compass, or I should say just a compass. And so it's about really these pillars of female consciousness. And so this is really a
When did this happen? Sorry to interject. I'm just curious, is it this year?
Yeah, no, that's a whole story in itself. This was actually, believe it or not, came through on the 8/8. I was contacted by the consciousness of Sekhmet, who is very interconnected with this as well. So it was through from the 8/8, the very early morning of 8/8 through to the 10th of August this year. Where I received, I would say this was more of like a structure and organization of many different perspectives that I've already received, but I didn't understand how to put them all together until that point. So I received this vision of this multi-layered, multi-dimensional compass, which ultimately guides us through our self-initiation process as female initiate. This is of the consciousness of Venus, of the Divine Mother. This is the High Priestess. It's almost like a modern day translation. And I would say, the mystery school is within us. The mystery school is actually within us. It's just how we guide and move ourselves through our internal reality that we ascend through these pillars of consciousness. The 8 pillars actually refer to pillars of female consciousness that are within us all, right? Our higher soul holds all of these, and there are layers, phases of awareness for us to integrate. And it's not really this journey of kind of precise separation. It's not 8 pillars. It's just, this is a translation in somewhat of a linearity. Of course, this is all really an ongoing process of just merging with these layers and these lenses of awareness. And so that's what it really does. It helps us to understand, remember, accept, integrate, and surrender. I guess I should speak about all of the 8 pillars. So I received all the names for the 8 pillars. So we move from 0, which we could call unconscious state, to 1, the first pillar, which is awaken. So we awaken to the mystery. And what is the mystery? Well, it is the unknown. It could be the parts of us that are holding on to trauma. It could be the parts of us that we haven't activated yet. The mystery is, it's actually came through as the virgin matrix that we are as star mothers activating. But we activate it through each and every one of us. So first we awaken the mystery, and then we remember the mystery. So this is actually quite a mental process. This is moving from child to what I call goddess. So this is still, we're still kind of seeing ourselves in an external reality. Then we are moving through from awaken, remember, to accept. So we're accepting and we're expanding. So awaken and remember are two pillars that are kind of conjoined. The expanding and accepting are also conjoined. And so this is when we're beginning to understand the mystery a little bit more, the unknown, the potential. This is our potential of creation. Okay, so we start to move into accepting. And this is, as I said, from child to goddess. And then we start to shift into a more internalized process. And so as we begin to shift from goddess to crone, the archetype of the crone, and then the fourth archetype is the star mother. And so we start to move from acceptance to intimacy. And this is becoming intimate with our soul. This is becoming intimate with the mystery of potential and the virgin matrix. This is becoming really aware of our potential as creators, soul aligned creators. And so we're beginning to move from intimacy to surrender. And I think this is so huge. This has been such a huge teaching for me, because I think for a long time, I was trying to find a surrendered state through my mind. And this teaching, this soul dial, teaches us that we have to actually move through the mind before we can actually surrender it. You know, I was kind of trying to surrender and reaffirm to myself through my mind, you know, that I was in this surrendered state. So this for me has been a huge teaching, this about surrender. And then as we move from crone, this is when we start to integrate all child, goddess, and crone. We start to reach 0 point. So we surrender into the mystery. We start to merge with the mystery. We find 0 point within the virgin matrix, within the mystery. And then the 8th pillar is becoming the mystery. We have completely merged, unified. We've become the mystery ourselves. We understand the virgin matrix. We understand this new earth, this golden age. And so that's kind of how we move around the 8 pillars. And as I said, it's kind of emerging with different perspectives and awarenesses. And I myself am still, of course, being schooled through this beautiful, expansive process.
Wow. All right. It sounds so beautiful and so wonderful. And in the webinar that you're going to do, I'll put the link in our Zoom audience. And for those who are watching and listening to this on other platforms, you'll find that link on this page or in the description box. So what are we going to be doing in this webinar? This it's an initiation of its own sense. What happens there?
Right. Well, if I'm honest, I'm still actually working with my team to channel this through. So this is really a special exclusive offer that I'm kind of offering to this audience. And this is really going to be a deep dive into different foundational perspectives. Of course, we're not going to be journeying through the whole soul compass, but I feel like I'm going to be back here and I'm going to be doing more workshops. But this will be really to help us to anchor into these foundational perspectives. So for instance, today I've shared about connecting to the future self. So throughout the 2 hours, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing perspectives such as this, and there will be probably a bit of guided kind of visualization as well, just so to help you create that neural pathway so you can return to it and repeat it in your own time. So we're really going to just be laying down foundations. I always call them like springboards, and that can really help you to anchor into this consciousness and then continue it in your own time.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you. So we are excited for that course. It is beautiful because we can dive deep into this topic and begin these initiations ourselves and step into more embodiment with this. Love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, this is a really special treat. So the date for this is November 16th. It's coming up. And the link that you will learn more about this event has the times listed as well. Okay, and everything is recorded in case you can't be there. You can certainly work with the information through that recording. Okay, wow. All right, well, there is a question from Destiny in our audience. So let's see. Oh, okay. Well, Destiny, I'm going to promote you to a panelist. You don't have to share your video, but you can unmute yourself and you can ask your question. Hi.
Hi. Hi. Did you want me to share the video? Is that what you said?
If you want to, sure. You don't have to.
Okay. Well, I will. I'm not sure what I look like. I was windblown, but it's okay. Hey.
Hi, we love to see you. Yes.
Um, I was wondering if, oh wow. Okay, this week has really been intense. I mean, really intense. But what I'm noticing is I don't know how this works, but I'm going to ask in hopes that Kate will understand and maybe let me understand. Um, how does the trauma that we've experienced affect our ego?
Right.
Because right now I'm getting whipped all over the place, and my ego is really my ego and mind are really having, whoa, just whoa, and how that works.
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic question. And it's very relevant for everybody right now. That's exactly what these solar energies are doing. They are bringing up all of that limitation. And it can feel very overwhelming. It can feel very suffocating because this limitation it's been controlling us subconsciously, and we are only now just feeling that suffocation, that restriction, and truly the ego, which we can call it many different things, but I think what you're referring to is the identity that over time, over your life, you have created, that is based on your trauma. And so what it's doing is it's coming up, it's being highlighted, illuminated in these solar energies. And it feels really horrible. It feels, tight chested, exactly, because it's being coming up to be released. So I'll just share one of the 8 pillar perspectives here for you that can really help. So what we want to do in this moment is we want to start to shift that interpretation from overwhelm and constriction. We want to shift it in that moment to celebration. I want you to start to celebrate that moment. Thank God, thank my Godhead in this moment for showing me this amount of suffocation, this amount of limitation that I have been carrying around unconsciously for all my life. Thank goodness I see it. Thank goodness.
Is this one identity, or is this like the whole,
right? It's multi-layered. Our ego, right, we could call our personality that has been formed in our old world, in our old experience, can connected to our ancestral patterns as well, our trauma, our childhood. Okay, so that's the ego. And of course, the ego is multifaceted. It's created by many different limitations, limited beliefs and layers. Now, this doesn't need to be overwhelming for us, because what's happening is our higher self is going to show us piece by piece. So we don't need to get overwhelmed with this perspective and think, oh my gosh, I've got so much work to do, because everything's by divine design. Everything's perfectly ordered. And this is what initiation is. Okay. So we're all being guided through our own self-initiation journey. All we have to do in order to ascend and move through the initiation process is be able to see what parts of limitation are coming up. So I would say, making sure that we have enough time, really tune in, don't resist that chaos energy, and try and tune into it and speak to it and ask, what layer of limitation is this showing you? What belief is this connected to? And it might be really obvious because it might be triggered by a circumstance or a conversation or a situation that triggers it in your reality. So just know that your higher self is communicating it to you as best as it can. And all we need to do in every day, every moment, know and trust that our higher self is guiding us. And so don't resist it, don't ignore it, don't think, oh, I've got all of these other things to do, because that that constriction, suffocation energy, that is your work. That is the priority in that moment to really sit.
A couple of times I thought I was gonna have a heart attack or something. It's crazy as it's been.
Right. So as I said, really the first way to work through it, see it, but then celebrate it, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to become attached and identify with that overwhelm. That's what we're trying to do, because all our lives we've identified with those feelings. What we're doing now is we are having bird's eye perspective and we're not identifying it with it. We are celebrating it. Thank goodness this layer of constriction is coming up for me to see. And just by even shifting that perspective of it, it will begin to alchemize it. It will begin to completely alchemize.
Oh, I've been trying to look at it like that. I'm glad that you said that. Thank you.
I hope that's helpful, but thank you for asking that question. That's really great.
Is there something, one of the pillars that you said would be the most helpful right now in this moment?
Well, I would definitely recommend joining our workshop for this as well. This is going to be perfect for this kind of thing. I would say what you're doing as you're seeing this. So already what we've done is we've moved you from the first pillar of awaken, remember, and now we're beginning to expand. So we're moving you into the third pillar of expand and also the fourth of accept. And acceptance is just accepting that suffocation, that restriction energy for what it is. And it is not your truth. It's just been this hidden part of you that has been hidden before and you haven't seen it until now. So, and that's the acceptance. So we're actually moving this whole thing that I shared you, we've moved you from the first pillar through to the fourth. And then once you've really anchored into that, then it begins to alchemize, and that's the surrender. We let it go. We let it go. It's no longer needed. We've seen it for what it is. We let it go.
Oh, thank you, Kate.
And that is a natural, organic, alchemical process as well. This is beyond the mind. It's through the mind, and yet it is beyond the mind. So literally what I shared with you is enough. And also just any kind of body work I always share as well. And I'm going to be going into this in the 2-hour workshop, but combining it with some kind of movement is also great with intention. We're going to be working with these tools. I'm going to be working with movement and sound a lot, which is very Venusian technology. It's organic Venusian technology to help you just let go and release that from the physical body.
Oh, wow. No, this is so good. Thank you so much.
Celebrate and dance. When you find that awareness, see it, acknowledge it, celebrate it, and then dance. And that will help to celebrate, but also move it out body.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lauren. Oh.
Thank you so much. Sending you so much love.
Yes, Destiny. Oh my gosh. Welcome to your journey, sister. You're there, and I see you transforming. Thank you. Thank you. You are ready. Yes. And I actually, what this year has been, the dancing for me too has come back, and wow, it's just so fun. And so I think the world should celebrate Singing and dancing every day. Sing and dance. Sing and dance. Okay. Let's see. I would like to go to Susan. Susan, you've got a question as well, and you can share your video or not.
Sure, sure. Um, oops, I cannot start my video because the host has stopped it. Okay, so if you can let me share the video, I'd be happy to.
There you go.
Alrighty.
Hi.
Hi, I can't see you guys yet. Oh, I probably have myself on hidden. Okay, there we go. Okay, see, oh yeah, there we go. Thank you so much. This is such a beautiful gift. 5 minutes before the class started, I was led to you, and immediately in the 5 minutes, I started to get not connect. You'll understand in a second. Not connect severe back pain, and then you started talking about like lower back pain, and I had an 11-pound baby 26 years ago, and I had the back pain more than the front pain. So when you went into the description of it, I'm like, okay, now I get it. I'm having back labor. So I'm enjoying everything you're saying about the authors and I'm definitely, I wish your class was right now. I'm so excited. But I was just wondering if you have anything else additional to the pain. I think my question and everything got happened just by Destiny's question, that a lot of it got healed because I almost feel like a white vortex there instead of the back pain. So I think what you said with the surrendering already shifted it. But anything else coming up for you about anything to assist? I also believe in doing a lot more Kundalini yoga and asked to do a lot more movement and things these days. But
right. Yeah, no, I think that's perfect. Bringing the awareness in combined with movement. I'm gonna actually save an answer for the workshop, but you're coming, so I'm happy about that. I would really just try to sit with your diamond heart. I'm going to share another one. Sit with your diamond heart. This is what's coming through now. And from the diamond heart, there is going to be a light in the core of the diamond heart. And so you can just send that down, trickling down the spine into that region of your body, which is holding the pain. And you can start to, I would definitely bring in some movement in there. Now, what I would do as well is I would start to visualize, take yourself into your DNA.
okay.
Go journey into your DNA and bring that light of diamond heart into the DNA as medicine and instruct, command the DNA to release whatever this is connected to, if it's holding anything kind of ancestral. But as you say, I do feel strongly that it's your physical body is being prepared because your energy body is being prepared to give birth, to birth the new consciousness as Star Mother. But absolutely just asking the DNA if there's anything that it can shift to help you. And as I said, I'm going to share another technique, but I'm going to save that for the workshop, but I think that will be great for you. But yes, thank you so much. And I'm so excited for you because yeah, it feels like you're definitely part of the Mother Eyes. So thank you.
Yay, I will see you at class. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all you're doing and sharing. Lovely.
Thank you, Susan. Beautiful. Susan works with the angels and she is an angel singer. So bringing through the goddess in that way. Well, this is amazing because, you know, even astrologically, I know you said that you're not tuned in or dialed into that, but astrologically, this is the time of the high priestess as well. And so I don't say we're stepping up, I say we're stepping into it. And it's beautiful because it really is embodiment. And this is truly who we are. So beautiful that this transformational year is almost over, but it's only just the beginning as we embody this and create new earth from this perspective, through this lens, as you call it. It's time, and I think we're all ready for it. And the surrender aspect, we've talked a lot about the collective. They, as things in the collective, it seems it's more divisive, but it's just a pronunciation of where there's love or fear. And so we are holding out that the collective is going to surrender to love. That really is the key. And so it's a beautiful journey that we're on, and you're doing incredible work. You're an inspiration for people to go deep within themselves and to witness the messages, to hear the messages, to tune in to the messages from the multidimensionalness that we are, from our guides, our higher aspects of ourself. And it's beautiful as we transform away from limiting beliefs. We call that BS, belief systems that no longer serve. So what an incredible journey. We thank you for this, and we're excited for your class. Again, that class, it's really affordable, $33, and beautiful initiation into these teachings that you received on 8/8, a beautiful Lionsgate portal. Wonderful. So as we say goodbye today, Kate, I want to give you a moment to share final thoughts or any other words you'd like to offer.
Well, I would like to end on just this awareness that we are right now attuning to the true north of our soul. We are realigning to that soul compass, that soul dial. And as we do, we are, as I say, opening those pathways that is going to make it easier for the collective to find their way back into the remembrance, the acceptance, and the surrender into love. So it's such a beautiful journey, and the mother is awakening within each and every one of us right now, and it's just such a journey of recognition. I'm sure everybody is experiencing this as well. We see that light, that mother awakening within each and every one of us. So I'm sending you so much love from my diamond heart to yours, and thank you so much, Lauren, for having me. You're such a beautiful expression and translation of the mother as well.
Thank you, Kate Alexandra, for this inspiring and enlightening conversation. We are blessed to have you here, and we're so grateful as well for these teachings and for your light. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Please check out Kate's special offer of that upcoming workshop. It's here on this webpage and in our Zoom audience box. Thank you, Kate. Namaste.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.